What better time to be looking for cheap stocks than when the market is actually falling really hard? And that's what's happening today. A lot of people are freaking out. They're texting me and all that. What do I think? What do I think? I'm going to tell you what I think right now. And we are going to be doing a new video, which is the best cheap stocks to buy now for October. Now, look, normally people associate cheap with not good. I am associating it with quality that I think is at a reasonable price. And so that is what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to show you guys how I found these 5 stocks, and hopefully we have a lot of fun together. Hey, I'm Luke Downey. I am co-founder of mapsignals.com. We don't follow the news. We follow the big money because the big money can really alert us to some of the best stocks out there. So if you like this type of content, make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel because we need the love. We're kind of new at this. We want to make sure that we're making videos that you guys actually like. So you know what? Show your friends some support. Give us a thumbs up. Now, look. Let's go ahead and get into this, all right? It's September. The markets are falling. I think we should probably cover that, put a little bit of historical context to that before we get started. And that is what I am going to do now. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Now, you guys know by now, or if you don't, you should know that I'm a long-term minded investor. I am always looking to figure out if there are patterns that we should, pay attention to, and there actually are. So we did this cool study and we went back to 1990 through 2020. We just wanted to see how did the major indexes actually act each month. And so you can see that September typically is a nasty month. Now, look, some of these sell-offs are a lot worse than what it shows whenever you average it all out. But basically, the point I'm trying to say is, yeah, it's an ugly September, but you know what? Historically, it's the worst month for the stock market. And you can kind of see that whenever you look at it from the lens of data. But if you want to get bullish, and I think you should always be bullish on, the US market over the long term, you can see that Q4, October through December tends to be very bullish for markets. And so you can see here, the Dow, the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Russell, all tend to be up big in Q4. So will that happen in 2021? Who knows? But you know what? You don't really want to be betting against history, especially with numbers like that. So that's the context. I think that we're going to see better times ahead for stocks. And so that's why I'm really excited to actually go over the stocks that we're going to be looking at today. And for this process, I sifted our universe to come up with these 5 stocks. So guys, just so you guys know, we look at 6,000 stocks per day. We have this automated process, a ranking process. And instead of looking at 6,000 stocks, I filtered to only look at stocks between $10 and $150. I know people don't like the high price stocks. So I figured, you know what, let's see if we can find some value here. Then I only wanted to see PE ratios below 50. So that's a forward PE, right? In this type of market, when you're looking at growth stocks with a forward PE of 50, that's actually relatively inexpensive to what else is out there. Then number 3, I wanted to see growing earnings, growing EBITDA, right? I want to make sure that they're actually making money. Then number 4, I wanted to see positive free cash flow. So if you have negative free cash flow, you're not part of the list that we're going over today. And then finally, for number 5, I wanted to only see stocks with 1-year sales growth that is positive, right? I want to make sure that their sales are actually trending up. So whenever I did that filter, 6,000 stocks became 600 stocks. And then from there, I just ranked them highest to lowest. And here are a number of those high ranked stocks that we'll be getting into right now. So the number one stock that we're going to be looking at is none other than Avantor. And so what are we looking at right here? Okay, so this is the map signals. This is basically how we map big money for each stock. Avantor is the number 1 stock. And as you can see, a lot of big money has been going into this stock over 1 year. So these green signals are showing that big money is going into the stock. If big money was coming out, you would see some red signals. So that's generally very positive, right? Also, what we like to do is we want to rank the stock, okay? So we have a ranking process that looks at the top 20 stocks that have the best fundamentals, and then they make our top 20 report. So how do you know if they make the top 20 report? Well, you see these blue signals, and you can actually see Avantor actually made 2 of those this over the past year. So that is actually pretty bullish. Not a lot of stocks make that top 20 report. Avantor actually did. And so for that, it's on my radar. But let's go ahead and look a little bit about what Avantor actually does, who they are, and look at some other stats. So again, on the left, that's our big money chart. On the right, that's kind of like that outlier chart. You know, that's where all the big money, the best stocks actually find themselves. So this is a healthcare stock. So they do a bunch of cool stuff with like materials and, you know, they do like all types of healthcare kits, chemistry kits, all that type of stuff. You were in school and you did like a science project and there was like some type of kit that came with it. A company like Avantor would do something like that. I thought that really made it kind of cool. It's a cool story. The share price is about $40. The market cap's $24 billion. For 1 month, it's up 1.8%. Year to date, it's up 42%. But here's the real kicker and why I think it's really interesting. It's had 25 buy signals year to date. Okay, not one sell signal. Okay, that is rare company, folks. And then if we look at it, it's a new company. I usually like to look back to 2015, but since it's only started trading in 2019 and it's got 2 of these blue signals, I think that's really good. The forward PE is 30, but there is one knock to the company, that I think is going to get better, but historically it's had negative 3-year earnings growth. I think that that's going to change in the future. I think that's one of the reasons the stock has been bid up the last year, but that is, to me, I think a potential cheap stock right here. So keep that one on your radar. Always remember the process is more important than the stocks. Let's get into the number 2 stock. And it is none other than Entegris. So this is a cool semiconductor stock. It's not a huge company as we'll go into, but man, has it had the juice. So again, what are we looking at? We are looking at just a lot of big money buying going into the stock. I know it's a little bit choppy or whatever, but what do you notice? The trend is up and there's just a lot of big money that goes into it. But if you go back to 2015, which is when I like to look, you can see that this stock made our top 20 list so many times. And I think that this is the stairway to heaven. I mean, this is how you find outlier stocks. You find them, great fundamentals, going up with big money. That is a recipe that, you want to be betting on, that we have found. So it's just a great company all around. We've known this thing for years. I should also disclose we own this in managed accounts. It's just a great company. So let's go ahead, look under the hood here. And what do we see? So it's a semiconductor company, technology stock. Share price is right about 125. Market cap's about 17 billion. So for 1 month, it's up 3.5%. Year to date, it's up about 30%. Again, another rare stock that has only had buy signals year to date. It had 18 of these bad boys. But then we go and we look at that outlier type report, that stairway to heaven. It's had 40 top 20 appearances since 2015. Guys, that is kicking butt majorly. Forward PE is 38.5. In this market, that is not that crazy. And here's what's really great about it. It's a 3-year earnings growth of 70%. My, oh my, that is just amazing. So look, you want to see big money. You want to see great fundamentals. The picture just has to line up. And I think when you're looking for potentially cheap stocks, that's how you find them. You know what time it is now? We got to go to the number 3 stock, and it is none other than Calix. So this is a newer name. It's a cloud software name. Hasn't really come on my radar that much, except for this past year. We'll go through the data and you'll see it. But one thing that's really cool about it, there's been a lot of buying that happened earlier this year, and then it kind of just chilled out, still heading higher, but the real thrust of big money came earlier in the year. And then, as you look back, how many times was it on this top 20 report? We could see 5 times. I think that's what makes it really cool. And look, is it going to be the next outlier? Who knows? But when you make this report 5 times, that is really special. But we got to look under the hood. And Calix, it's a tech stock, right? Cloud name. Share price is 48 bucks. It's a small stock. Market cap is just over $3 billion. For 1 month, it's flat. Year to date, it's up 61%. Again, what do we see? It's only got buy signals, no sell signals yet. It's had 6 buy signals year to date. That top 20 just now, that's why it's on my radar, is because it's made it 5 times since 2015. And that was obviously very recent. The forward PE is 40, but the 3-year earnings growth is 45%. So, I mean, look, earnings growth is big. Big money coming into the stock is big. I think that this is an undervalued stock. And of course, that's why it's number 3. So now let's keep going back to our number 4 stock. So it is none other than Advanced Micro Devices. This is AMD. I mean, look, love it or hate it. You either love this stock or you hate this stock. I couldn't believe that when I was, going through this sifting process that AMD actually showed up, but it did. And so that's why I think it's a potentially cheap stock. So look, what do we notice? It had some big buying that happened late last year. Then there was some sell signals, some more back. Remember that big growth scare that happened back in May? And all of a sudden it's starting to get that big money love again. And then if we go back to 2015, what do we see? A lot of big money buy signals. Now there was one sell signal. I'm not putting too much stock into that. I think the important thing is that, AMD had a lot of issues. They weren't really doing much. And then all of a sudden they started to change their tune. And when you start finding yourself all over this top 20 list, that is the stairway to heaven, my friends. This is a great semiconductor. They've got great products. I think people love this stock. Let's look under the hood. So AMD, it's a tech stock, semiconductor, chips, they're just firing on all cylinders right now. The share price is 103 bucks. Market cap's 125 billion. For 1 month, it's down 7.5%. Year to date, it's up 12%. And it's kind of just been in that little bit of rotation. Year to date, it's had 11 big money buy signals and 5 sell signals. We look at that top 20 report since 2015, 21 times. That's a lot. That's what we want to see. That's a stairway to heaven. The forward PE is 43, but look at this. Their 3-year earnings growth is just over 400%. So look, I think that PE is going to continue to contract, and that is why the stock is a cheap stock. Now, you know what we got to do? We got to finish this thing out, baby. And we got to go to the number 5 stock. It is none other than Catalent. Now, this is a new stock I didn't know too much about. Drug manufacturer, healthcare name. But whenever you go and you look under the hood, you'll see that this has a lot of characteristics that we want to see for a best cheap stock. So look, big money buying early this year. They had 1 sell signal. Who sold that? And then all of a sudden you see big money juice just coming into this name. But if we go all the way back to 2015, we can see that right when this stock started to ramp, it started to make that top 20 report. And then you see a few of them over here, and we can kind of zoom in on this. And in fact, recently it's had 3 extra appearances. So that tells you that this company is firing great on technicals, big money buying, and also has just a lot of great fundamentals. So let's go ahead, look under the hood, this name at our final stock. Healthcare stock, share price is 133 bucks, market cap 23 billion. But look, it's up on a 1-month basis and a year-to-date basis. 18 big money buys year to date, 1 sell. And you can see it made that top 20 list 4 times. The forward PE is only 39 with a 3-year earnings growth rate of 80%. All right. So that tells you that that PE is going to be contracting in the years to come if they continue that growth rate. And guys, send us some feedback. These are the 5 cheap stocks that you want to have on your radar. Always remember, have fun with your investing. Don't take it too seriously, and look for great companies, the ones that have great fundamentals, big money buying, and have the seeds of greatness. We'll see you guys next time.